Hello everybody. In this report we're going to discuss the E-Myth by Michael E. Gerber. Now what is this about? Well, this focuses on how you go about starting your own business to change your life. And he starts out by giving lots of statistics about how small businesses or new businesses fail, and he gives some reasons for that. And this book is really about correcting the errors or deficiencies that lead to failure. So why do small businesses fail? What to do about it? Well, in summary, the answer is this. You need to systematize your businesses such that your business is not wholly dependent upon you. The E-Myth, the name of the book, is focused on the idea that all entrepreneurs have a great idea, the acumen to pull it off, and the capital to invest in it such that you can create a business. Well, this is a fallacy. In most situations, generally you have somebody who knows how to do something, that is a technician, someone who has skills or ability, and they say, I want to start a business, but they lack the business acumen or the resources to actually carry it out or pull it off. So what the author says is there are basically three roles that actually need to be present in any entrepreneurial venture of this nature. First is the entrepreneur, that is the individual who provides the idea, the creativity, the inspiration. The manager, the person who actually sets the processes in motions, who allocates the tasks and the resources accordingly. And then the technician, the individual who actually carries out the process. And the technician is obviously spread over lots of people, as is the role of the manager, but the role of the entrepreneur is usually centered at the top of the organization, if not in one individual. So with that being said, these three distinct roles are important. And if you start to see the function of starting and managing a startup as requiring these three areas of knowledge or ability, then you have what it takes, or at least the information necessary to move on. Next, an entrepreneurial venture of this sort will go through three stages. That is, you have the infancy, adolescent, and maturity stage. Obviously, the maturity stage is a functioning business that is automated and independent of yourself. The infancy stage is when you first start a business. Generally, this is begun, as we discussed, as a technician who knows how to do something and begins holding themselves out there to the public to provide this service or to create this product and ultimately try to sell it. Now, ultimately, the technician becomes overworked because it is too dependent on him or her. Rather than being automated, the technician has to be involved in everything. So there's a lot of burnout at this stage, and this is often why businesses fail. They're either not generating the value from their effort, so it doesn't seem to be worth it, or they just can't keep up with the workload. They reduce back, and then all of a sudden they're not meeting customer client expectations, and the business fails. So the idea is to move from infancy to adolescent stage, and this is where you begin to hire other people to carry out processes, to plan parts of the organizational processes or the operating processes that are going to allow the business to operate independent of you doing everything on your own. So as the saying goes, create a business that a dummy could run, because ultimately a dummy will be running your business one day, hopefully. With that being said, so you're trying to automate and systematize. Now, this is very difficult because there's a lack of business understanding and acumen with the technician at this phase. So this is where the learning comes in, and you're back and forth trying to graduate to the adolescence phase. If you run into hardships, oftentimes you fall back into the infancy stage. So there's this rotating cycle that continues to happen over and over. Now, what the author proposes is to look as an example to the franchise movement. And what is a franchise? Is basically where you create an operating model and you create brand awareness and advertising for people who want to purchase that operating model and operate under your brand. So once you create a great model, you can systematize it and allow others to license from you the ability to use your system. And the author talks a great deal about McDonald's and the founder Ray Kroc, who made this model popular. So, but what he says is any business can be taken to the point of a greater level of organization to the extent of automation through business development programs. That is, organizing the business, all the functions. And he basically gives an outline that says you have to align personal objectives with business objectives. You have to come up with an organizational plan about what needs to happen, and then a management plan about how you're going to allocate delegate the activities that need to happen to the individuals who need to carry that out, and how you're going to allocate resources to that. So particularly, you're going to come up with a people plan. Who do you need to carry out these tasks or functions, and how you're going to bring in people that meet with the organization's culture, needs, goals, etc. Then how you're going to make people aware of the value proposition that you're offering, that is your marketing plan, and then your systems plan. How does this all operate together such that you can monitor the activity and make decisions to make certain that you're taking actions or making decisions in the best interest of the ongoing venture. And then your ongoing development phase. And this is where you get into the maturity cycle, which is the idea of continued innovation, measuring the results of whatever you've introduced. So you're innovating on new products or services, or ways to carry out the products or services that you're delivering already. And then you examine or measure the results to make certain that the effort that's being put into it is producing the desired outcome, and then executing on those plans. So this is when you've reached the stage of maturity in the business, and you've largely systematized it and gotten to a level of automation such that it's not relying on you, it's reliant on the internal systems that exist for the business. So that's the key takeaway there. Being extremely organized, systematizing your business such that it delivers the value proposition across these areas that we discussed in the business development program. So this is our summary of the E-Myth by Michael E. Gerber.